Christian Horner's Red Bull nightmare has reached its ultimate conclusion, and his next move could fundamentally reshape the Formula One landscape forever. After spending just over a month working and racing without Christian Horner at their helm, Red Bull Racing has now delivered what can only be described as the final administrative blow to their former team principal. Horner has officially left his role as director of Red Bull's various UK entities this week, marking the complete severance of all ties with the organisation he led for nearly 2 decades. On Thursday, new filings at Companies House showed Horner had been officially terminated as director of 4 companies over the past 48 hours, including Red Bull Racing, Red Bull Technology, Red Bull Powertrains, which operates the current Honda-built engines, as well as Red Bull Powertrains 2026. This administrative coup de grace suggests the company has agreed severance details with the 51-year-old former team principal. The financial implications are staggering. Horner was contracted to Red Bull through to 2030 in a deal worth somewhere between £9 and £12 million per season. This means a bumper payday from Red Bull, potentially worth upwards of £50 million, has just landed in Horner's bank accounts. So ends the employment of the 4th longest-serving team principal in F1 history. Horner leaves behind an incredible legacy, having established one of the best teams in Formula One over the last 2 decades with 6 constructors' titles and 8 drivers' titles. The timing is particularly painful for Horner, as his removal comes just 7 months before the ultimate culmination of 2 decades of work with the team. Next season, Red Bull Racing will take to the grid with their own engine made in partnership with Ford. It was always the ultimate goal for Christian to turn Red Bull into a factory team, a project that Horner started in 2021 and one he'll have to watch Laurent Mekies lead to culmination next season. However, this move had been inevitable since a crucial turning point in Red Bull's hierarchy. When Red Bull founder Dietrich Mateschitz died on October 22, 2022, Christian Horner lost more than the billionaire who had bankrolled and believed in him for 17 years. He lost a shield that had protected his rule. From that moment on, the F1 team boss's days were numbered, even if it wasn't clear from the outside at first. Under Mateschitz, Horner was free to run the team as he saw best. There was no politics with the board, no overly involved executives who thought they knew best. When Mateschitz died, though, Horner's autonomy ended. When the Red Bull empire was split between 3 executives in Austria, one of them, Oliver Mintzlaff, a former football chief with no deep roots in racing, everything changed. All of a sudden, Horner had to answer to someone who thought he knew better, who didn't see the success of decades, just saw a project he wanted to make his mark on. Mintzlaff's dislike of Horner actually dates back to before Mateschitz' death. Mintzlaff, then still running RB Leipzig, had championed a Porsche buy-in that would have given the car maker a 50% stake in Red Bull Racing. Horner hated the idea of losing complete control of the team and used his influence with Thai majority owners to get the deal scrapped. Mintzlaff hated how he'd been undermined. Once Mintzlaff took control of the Red Bull empire, it was just a matter of time before Horner was going to be removed. With his ties at Red Bull now completely severed, Horner is free to look to the future. When Horner was removed from Red Bull Racing, no one thought it would be the end of him in Formula One. Years of interest from Ferrari to hire him as a team principal wasn't going to go away overnight. Fred Vasseur was going to be out of contract at the end of this season, and some thought that Horner may just move to the Italian side for 2026. However, Vasseur signed a new contract this month to keep him at the team for the new season, effectively closing that door. The option that potentially looks more exciting in the long term, if far worse in the short term, is Alpine. In and out of Formula One in various guises, Renault currently runs its Formula One team under the Alpine branding. But as of next season, Alpine will no longer be a works outfit. Flavio Briatore and Renault's higher-ups made the call to scrap Renault's F1 engine project after a disappointing run of results and instead sign up with Mercedes for 2026. Renault's bosses have repeatedly denied that they want to sell, but they clearly aren't that interested in running the team. You don't bring in a man like Flavio Briatore to run your team if you want to influence the day-to-day of what's happening there. You bring him in because you know he'll take care of business. Briatore is currently the acting team principal of the team, but it isn't a long-term solution for them. This is where Horner comes in, and Alpine could offer him everything that he used to have at Red Bull under Mateschitz. As former F1 driver Ralf Schumacher said, it would be a good fit as Briatore, Alpine's executive director and de facto team principal, is hardly a modern team principal. I think the time of figures like Flavio is over, he told Bild when asked if Alpine needed Horner. You need tech-savvy people at the top. Someone like Horner, Flavio could then help as an organizer and networker as a face to the outside world. Horner stepping in at Alpine would be the perfect fit. He is a man who can run a team from top to bottom. He can take control of the team and allow Alpine the hands-off ownership that they want. He has proven that he can turn a customer team into a huge success, having won 6 constructors' titles and 8 drivers' titles with Red Bull despite never building their own engines. A move to Alpine could offer Horner something more as well. At Red Bull, Horner always wanted a portion of the team. Looking across the pit lane at Toto Wolff, who owns a third of the team he runs, Horner was jealous. Ownership, even if it's just a small part, offers a level of control beyond anything Horner ever had at Red Bull. That big payoff from Red Bull won't be enough to buy more than a couple of % of a team, but Horner has the contacts to create a partnership with a big money backer to buy a part of the team, securing himself a long-term future running Alpine. F1 teams at the moment are a fantastic growth investment, and there are plenty of parties in the Middle East who would be interested in investing 100 million or two into a team knowing it could gain tens of % worth of value every year, especially with a successful team principal like Christian Horner at the helm. Horner's old friend Bernie Ecclestone reckons owning a share in a team is the only thing standing between Horner and an F1 return. The position he really wanted at Red Bull was to own part of the team. Unless he gets somebody to put the money up to buy a team, I can't see it happening, Ecclestone stated, highlighting the crucial importance of ownership in Horner's future plans. The business case for Alpine makes perfect sense. F1 teams represent fantastic growth investments, with valuations increasing dramatically year over year. An investment scale of 100 to 200 million pounds for a significant stake could yield massive returns, particularly with Horner's proven track record attracting serious investors. Alpine wants hands-off ownership, and Horner has demonstrated his ability to run teams from top to bottom while delivering unprecedented success with customer engines against works teams. This potential partnership represents more than just a career move for Horner. It's an opportunity for personal vindication and the chance to prove his worth with an ownership stake that Red Bull never offered him. Alpine desperately wants the kind of hands-off ownership that Renault clearly desires, allowing them to step back from day-to-day operations while maintaining their F1 presence. Horner has demonstrated his exceptional ability to run teams from top to bottom, transforming Red Bull from a marketing exercise into a dominant force that consistently delivered unprecedented success with customer engines against established works teams. This potential partnership represents far more than just a career move for Horner. It's an opportunity for personal vindication and the chance to finally prove his worth with the ownership stake that Red Bull never offered him despite 2 decades of unparalleled success. With Alpine's transformation into a customer team and Renault's desire for distance, the timing couldn't be more perfect for Horner to secure the ownership control he's always craved.